Welcome to Get Your Shoot Together, the photographer's podcast where we discuss studio, business, life, and keeping it all in line. I am Kara Derryberry.
Hey, I'm Mary Fisk-Taylor. How are you?
I am so great, and I got to tell you, I have a song stuck in my head.
You do?
It's a Celine Dion song.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to do it to you now.
Oh, you're such a delight.
When you hold me like this.
Oh, wow.
And I touch you like that.
Yep. Yeah.
That song.
All right. I was feeling a little more Dave Matthews Band since that's what I did this weekend.
No, but I've been traveling a lot and you've been traveling a lot. You went to see Dave. I went to see a couple of friends in New Orleans that we went to college with. And we like to sit on their back porch and just sing karaoke like maniacs. And Kara, my friend Kara Hennessy in New Orleans, she has a playlist, and the playlist is titled Scream Singing.
Oh, I can only imagine what that. Yeah,
so there was a lot of Celine Dion and Whitney Houston on that.
Yeah, because that's definitely scream singing.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I were singing either one of those artists, somebody would be screaming. Probably the people that had to listen to me sing it. But
it was so long ago, but it's all coming back to me. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And now all of you are too.
Every single one of you, whether you want to or not, are now on the Celine Dion scream singing train. Gosh, I can't believe it's Tuesday. Doesn't it feel like Monday to you?
I feel like I'm in this limbo of days.
Yeah. P.S. We pre-record, so y'all know this, right? So that but because our podcast comes out every Thursday, because that's the awesomest day of the week. But we pre-recorded for some reason this morning. I was like, is it Monday? I don't know. No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, and last week was. I feel like last week wasn't a part of my own life.
No, last week, girl, you were everywhere last week. You were, every single where. First, I saw you at the beginning of the week at a board meeting in Atlanta.
We had that board meeting,
so we're hanging out there, hanging out in Atlanta, in and out. Then you jet off to Capitol Hill, right up the road from me.
Like some sort of adult.
Like an adult. I mean, you were killing it. You were wearing adult clothes every day.
I was. That was kind of a challenge. That was hard.
You look great.
I had to plan that. I had my suitcase broke as you were so my suitcase, the wheel on my suitcase broke on one of the longest travel weeks I had ever. And so one of the wheels is broken on my suitcase. So I'm literally just we're going through the MARTA and I'm just dragging it on the face of the suitcase.
It's true. Right. You and handles and wheel things breaking off and you mustering through. I mean, you literally deserve an award for the adversities you overcome with luggage, car handles. I mean, it's paid for, Kira. That luggage is paid for. You should keep it.
The luggage is paid for, and I just don't see. I mean, it still holds clothing.
Yeah, but Kira, how many times did you look at me and give me that face on the MARTA alone? That thought, maybe I'll invest another little bit into a suitcase.
Do you have a suitcase recommendation? Because I basically go to Marshall's and TJ Maxx and I spend right around $65 on a suitcase. So Mary, well-traveled Mary, keeper of beautiful luggage.
You don't want to know about my luggage, but
I know about your luggage and I want to hear about this bougie luggage.
No, I do like Toomey luggage. It has the best guarantees. It gets the job done. I've never had a wheel. I've never had these issues. But
okay, so if a wheel falls off,
they replace the whole piece of luggage.
Right. But what about the strife and anger that I feel as I'm dragging it, the broken wheel through the
Well, they're not going to send someone to carry it for you when it falls off.
But so it's not that kind of investment.
But I'm telling you, it's so well made. I don't think a wheel would fall off. I've used it for a long time. I've never had a wheel fall off. Do you know, when you're in the airport or you're somewhere and you see the wheel falling off is terrible, but you know what's worse, Kira? And I've seen this happen too many times because we travel too much, where someone will get it off the baggage claim, go to grab that handle, and the thing just keeps coming. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It just splays.
You just the whole handle slides out and out. Do you know what I'm talking about? The whole handle.
I do.
I've had that happen on my camera bag before.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah. Not.
I've had where that metal arm that we're talking about, where it bends and it either won't go back, it won't go back down.
Yeah.
So you're trying to put it in a car, and
jacked
you
up.
just have
Now it's all jacked up and it's half in, half out, and then you have to like kind of squat down to roll it to the airport. Yeah.
See, I just don't have a lot of faith in luggage, and it's not that I wouldn't invest in luggage. It's just that I find it hard to believe that all luggage isn't created the same. Like when it comes to the handles and the wheels and things. So you're telling me that if I invested in an investment piece of luggage, that this might last me longer, and I wouldn't.
I feel this
deal with
way, but I can't believe that you don't feel there's a difference. That's like there's not a difference in, I can't even respond to that. That's crazy talk.
What's funny is I'm coming off like the cheapest person in the world, and I am like,
you're not.
I spend so much money.
I feel like we painted this picture of you that's really not at all accurate, but it's fun. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of it. Either that, or people think that I am literally the most I'm as shallow as a petri dish here. Like
we're just going to be cartoonish versions of ourselves.
Yeah. So
on this podcast, but yeah, so
big week. Yeah.
Went to Capitol Hill.
Yes. Did.
Met with a ton of different senators' offices. Got to meet Dianne Feinstein. Got to meet Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. Got to sit adjacent to Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham.
Right.
And the nameplates for Kamala and Cory Booker.
Yeah.
They had
Cory.
Just
I
their
love
name.
Cory Booker. He was.
I do too. I was sad I didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
But their staff was there because I imagine they're off doing stuff, and sat table next to Mark Cuban at lunch.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
There's a lot of celebrity sightings. So yeah, but the
do you think that they're on a podcast right now saying they were by you?
Probably. They were like, there was this really sweaty girl dragging the suitcase that was just like, it just kept spinning in one direction. So every once in a while she had to do a little turn with it to get it to go right. And, we were just laughing.
Oh, yeah. And one other celebrity you got to sit on the panel with.
Oh, yeah. And Ann Geddes was there with us. Several celebrities that were sitting on the panel with.
The one I recognized out of the gate.
Yeah, and Ann Geddes was there, who, as we all know, is the, I would say, foremost innovator in creative newborn photography, creative styled newborn 100%. Photography from the 80s and 90s and 2000s. And she was a delight. Her and her husband were there, and they were there helping us kind of make the case to all these senators' offices that we needed them to co-sponsor this bill, and it worked.
Yeah, which was wonderful. Let's talk about it. I mean, just in case you don't follow us or you haven't seen us posting or you're not a PPA member, Professional Photographers of America member, and haven't seen all the information, let's talk a little bit about this, Kara, because it's huge. It's big for not just us as small business creative photographers. I think all small business creatives, and I think people that purchase this type of work, we all deserve that protection. So since you I did this a few years ago. I know it was, politics is my background, so it was so exciting to be up there, but you just were there, so you have a even better, fresher memory of it.
Fresh insight. So yeah. I'll admit that I've always been on board with this copyright, the Case Act stuff that we've been promoting, but I really feel like when I talk to other photographers about it, there's a little bit is getting lost in translation. So maybe first let me start with explaining exactly what we're trying to protect. I mean, it's not just we're trying to make sure that your images are copywritten and you're going through the office and you're registering it. And, we're actually trying to protect your intellectual property, your ideas, your work. Okay. And it doesn't just apply to photographers. It applies to authors and poets and songwriters and painters and any creative out there. This is who it applies for. So the best example that I can give, or that I've been giving over and over, is here in Tallahassee, Florida, a lot of people photograph the state capitol, and put it in their portfolios. And as photographers in this day and age, photographers have to be able to put their work online. Right? Mm-hmm. So you put your work online so that other people can see that you can do the work that you say you can do. And then that work ends up appearing on Google searches and on all kinds of different types of searches. And so when, say, a state agency or a lobbying firm or any other government agency in Florida goes looking for images of the state capitol, your image probably comes up, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And a lot of those places take that image and they put it on their website. or they take it and they print it out for their marketing materials. And it doesn't occur to them, or they know outright probably, but let's pretend that it doesn't occur to them that they're actually stealing from you. Okay. So for me anyway, if there's a licensing fee on that image of, let's say, $500, and I contact the people who are taking my image and I say, hey, you have, I'm sure, mistakenly used my image, unknowing that it is copywritten. Here you go. This is how much it costs. For $500, you can license this image and you can use it on your website or on your marketing material, whatever you need to do. They currently can come back to you and say, we're just going to keep using it.
Yep.
If we want to, or they might be nice and they might pay you for it, or hey, maybe they don't respond to you at all.
Right.
And then someone like myself and you and most of the photographers that we know, you guys are doing all the things in your businesses, and it seems unlikely that you're going to go and pursue them now legally and trying to get legal recourse to get this $500 back. And because you, one, don't have enough money to take them to court over it, two, don't have the resources and time to go and energy to go and pursue this $500, you've got to work on getting the next $500.
Exactly.
Right? So what this process is going to do is hopefully act as a better deterrent. It's going to give you a small claims process. So you're going to copyright your work. You're going to register your copyright. And then if somebody steals the image of the Capitol, you're going to send them a letter and a copy of that copyright and a bill. And they can opt out of it if they want to, but then they need to pay you that bill.
Right.
If they do. And so hopefully what we're looking at is not a lot of litigation. What we're talking about is really a better deterrent, because right now all you got is your fist that you can shake at them angrily.
Yeah, very angry villagers. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I mean, and the thing is that you're right. It's not just talking about, and it affects them too. I mean, people like Ann Geddes or, some of your bigger, you think of bigger commercial or celebrity photographers, but they have a little bit more clout. You're talking about most of us that are mom and pop type studios. We're the largest copyright holder of anything in the entire world. Like, we as small business, small creative photographers, as small mom and pop studios, are the largest holder of copyright than anybody else, certainly in the United States. However, because we photograph schools and baseball and preschool and this and all these things, and we put them out there so we can say, look what I can do. I want to be a sustainable business, and people can just take them and use them. I've heard stories of other friends or photographers who has been driving down the road and seeing their images on a billboard or in a magazine or, and like you said, brochures in doctor's office, like literally sitting in the doctor's office and look and see one of their baby pictures, and they can't afford to fight it. The process is so lengthy and very costly. There is just not a process for us as small business holders. So I love this campaign. I know we've all been very, very supportive of it, but it was exciting this time to see some actual traction. We got through a step.
The Senate Judiciary Committee passed the bill.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun to see, because you're in a room and there was limited seating. There was only 15 audience seats. So I was one of the 15 people that got to sit in there alongside. There's like a press section, and then there's like a staff section for all the senators. And so they're all sitting in a square, and having this discussion. And what was really cool is to see things like people we had met with or offices that we had met with come on board as co-sponsors, like during that meeting. So we had gone to Senator Feinstein's office and had a meeting there. And during the meeting, she had a lot of questions about it, but she didn't seem like, I'll say she didn't seem excited about it. And it wasn't a bad thing. She didn't oppose it or anything, but she had a lot of questions about minor details of it. And then we talked to her a little bit. We gave her some examples of like when people steal ebooks, for example, which is something I guess I just never I'm so in my own bubble about photography that I don't think about the authors and how they're, so, one of the stories was we had this published author with us who has 35 published works out there, and his work had been repeatedly being lifted off of the ebook market and then republished under a different name, different title, and just put back out. Another author said that her book had been lifted, retitled, reauthored, and put back out. So she has a publishing deal, a distribution deal with her publisher that gives her book sells for $12.99. That gives her $1 a book, right? Oh. These people are taking the book, republishing it under a different name, self-publishing it, and they're getting $5 a book.
Taking her name off of it and saying it's their work.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing she can do because the cost to the procedures and costs to try to fight that when she's making $1 a book is
Yeah.
right.
She said it took her 3 years to write the book.
Oh man.
3 years to write the book, $12.99 a book, $1 physical in her hand, and then people are republishing it and making $5 a book. And maybe they're not selling as many copies as she did, but they're exponentially making more on it per book, you know? And it's just, and it's crazy. So we talked to Senator Feinstein about that. I gave her a lot of real world examples that for photographers. And when I got done talking, she said, well, you know what? I can see how that would be a problem. And then she said, you know, a lot of people that I know support this and have done a lot of research on it. I feel good about that. And she didn't commit to co-sponsoring it in the meeting, but then the next day when we're in the Senate Judiciary committee meeting, she chimes right in and says, I'd like to co-sponsor this bill. And I was like jumping out of my seat a little bit because I'd like to think that our meeting had a lot to do with that. You know, when we could give her these real world examples of how this is wrong and how this is wronging creators. It just feels like it's hard for people to argue the counter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, we're just being stolen from. So.
No, we absolutely are. It is stealing. I mean, it's a different type of stealing, and it's not just us. And I like that, you know, we don't know what we don't know. And I certainly, when I was up there, it was some commercial photographers, a songwriter, an author, but there was a cartoonist, a gentleman, and he does cartoons, and he, you know, obviously the cartoon industry, meaning caricatures, whatever they are, if you're doing them for the New Yorker, if you're doing them for large corporations like Disney, whatever, you know, they do these, and there used to be a huge market for it. Well, computers, different things like that. It's a kind of one of those old old fields that have just kind of gone out of fashion because it's been replaced. You know, just like the music industry changed. Well, cartooning is something, but this guy had been a cartoonist like for like 50 some years. And he was just talking about how he still loved to do them, but they were always getting stolen. And, you know, a large corporation had picked one up and was using it, and he couldn't get his, and it was just breaking my heart. And I was just like, yikes, you know, I mean, this is what's happening. And because we're small business owners, I mean, we all know hiring an attorney and going into legal, you know, getting legal action and going into proceedings, the time, energy, and money it takes to do that, it's just not feasible for us. And I think your larger businesses or the people out there that are taking it, they know that we can't fight them. They'll tie you up in court until they break you. And I mean, that sounds really mean, but it's true. I think it's what they do.
And it was, honestly, it was nice to see, because some of the people that came, you know, Ann Getty's included, and Rick Carnes, who is a songwriter who has written #1 hits for Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire. I mean, these guys have reached a level of success that most working class people in our industries could dream to achieve. You know what I mean? Like that's, but they were able to tell their stories, but also tell how this relates to the everyman in these industries. Like Rick was telling a story about the guy who wrote Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, which everybody knows.
Classic Christmas.
Everybody, it's what classic Christmas song. Yes. It is. It's. I mean, whether you like
good
it
or bad,
not,
it is. Yeah.
And if you thought that you had Celine Dion stuck in your head a minute ago, now you've got Grandma Got Run Over by a
now. Is what's happening.
Yeah. We should have put a warning label on this
one. We really should.
So, but that guy never had another hit, according to Rick. Like, he never had another hit, and this was his claim to fame, and this was kind of how he made money for a long time. And then the digital age comes along, and his song is appearing on Napster and appearing on eventually on YouTube, and it's become such a song that everyone recognizes as a Christmas kind of comedy song that it's as if it's not stealing. It's as if the general public doesn't feel that they're stealing from him anymore. He no longer can make any money on this song because it's just readily available on the internet wherever, and he has no means to pursue it. You know,
like
and so
Happy
you think
Birthday or something, because
it's like Happy Birthday, but you know, his song isn't public domain.
It's not.
I think that's the thing. You know, if I go into a department store and I pick up a shirt off the rack and I walk out the door, that I'm going to get stopped, I'm going to get possibly arrested, prosecuted, and you know, it's against the law. I know it's stealing. They know it's stealing. You can physically see with your eyeballs that it's stealing. But you know, because digital, it's always around us. You know, that it's kind of lost its sense of. We've lost our sense of what is stealing.
Exactly.
You know, when it comes to stuff like that, because you can't physically hold it, I think. It's the intangible, and it's always there, and it's kind of like it's just there for the taking whenever you need it, you know? So that's kind of what we're trying to do is, you know, it's not, we keep calling the digital age like it's this new thing that just happened upon us. I mean, it's been, as you know, Al Gore invented the internet.
I mean, yeah,
and
World Wide Web.
Yeah, the WWW. And it's been around for almost 30 years, 25 years.
It's been around a while. Yeah.
It's been around for some times.
Yeah.
I mean, so this stuff, we're late to the program is the sad thing. Is like we're setting some rules and some boundaries on these things. The whole country is late to the program. So that's why we need everybody's help.
Yes, we do.
To get this bill signed. So we need you to be writing your senators, your House people. We need you to be writing all your people. And how can you do that, Mary? Do you remember?
You know, we have made it so easy. The one thing, there's so much I'm proud of that PPA's worked on, but this is one of the bigger things I think that, man, PPA just took a hold of this and really, in my opinion, has just, you know, taken it as far as they can. And now they need our help. So if you go to ppa.com/small claims, ppa.com/small claims, all you have to do is put in your name, email, and your zip code, and it's going to tell you who your representatives are. You click the button, the letters are sent. And I think there's this misunderstanding, and I was confused about it in the beginning as well. Please, we want and need letters to be sent regularly. So doing it once, fantastic. But if you could make a note that every Monday or every week or, once a week, you sit down and just take, 30 seconds and do that. If you could share that and ask your friends and your family, I even would send it out to my clients and ask my clients to share it because I do think it's important. It's legislation that I think protects so many people, not just us as photographers. Kira's given you so many examples of other people that it literally robs them of their livelihood. It not only robs them of their creativity, but it's robbing us from our livelihood of making a living. And we need this. And so getting through that Senate committee was huge. There's a couple more steps ahead of us. And I know that PPA will continue to be there to fight the good fight, but we need all of your help.
All hands on deck is what it. Yeah, if you love a creative, then you can send the letter. I have had such a nice response from my clients that are sending in letters, which is such nice support. You know what I mean? Because they're like, yes, we value you. We want, to pay you for the things that you create. And it's so nice to hear that. And, we had a lot of support coming out of Utah in an emergency situation.
That's right.
Where it looked like Senator Lee might not be on board. And so we sent an email out to our Utah professional photographers, and we got a big force of letters coming in. And then so the chairman of the committee is Lindsey Graham. And so when it passed almost a voice, I'm going to mess all this up, but I think it's like a voice vote, almost unanimous. Lindsey Graham says, I heard a lot of photographers are going to be really excited.
Aww.
And I was like, it's not just an it's like,
wow.
You guys, what we've been working on for like 15 years or something, it's finally rounding a corner, and it's just, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's there, but it's not over with.
No.
Sure.
And we have such a great team with Cindy up there, like on the ground in DC. And then we have an amazing, Victoria, our staff person at PPA that, handles a lot of this. And of course, David Trust has been there all along, our PPA president, but every single one of us that write a letter, every single one of us that share this, he's right. Photographers are going to be super excited about this, but with so much noise that's happening, can you imagine them even knowing who we are on Capitol Hill? I mean, I think that just says a lot for professional photography, for creatives. I mean, because there's so many people banging on their door every minute on the minute asking for something. And for us to have even penetrated that for a minute and them actually know and say, wow, photographers really mean it. Y'all, that's huge. So we've got to keep this up. It's not over, but we've got a really great start and initiative. And I was just so excited to see you up there and do that. It's a lot of fun. It's, as someone who got to, I got to do it, like I said, a couple of years ago. It's neat. It's neat to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit and get it.
It's neat to peek behind the curtain. It's neat to kind of just meet the people who make things work and kind of see. And it's intimidating, but it's not. I think I was a little nervous. Like I was intimidated and nervous that I was going to say the wrong thing or whatever. It was just like they just want to hear what you have to say. They just they want to hear your story. They want to be compelled. I mean, it was like they wanted to be convinced, of this. They just needed to be convinced,
Yeah.
That they needed our help. And so it was really, really encouraging. And what's funny is, you're right, David Trust, our CEO, he has been going up there for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. I mean, he's been going up there regularly fighting for this and getting it to the point that it's at. And we were staying at this hotel and they all know him.
Yeah.
Like they all know him and, they all greet him warmly, get him anything he needs. And it's not just like the hospitality. It's like, it's because he's there so frequently.
Yeah.
They're working,
Well, it's something to be proud of. And you know what I'm even more proud of? There's so many things. But I'm excited that, this is benefiting all small business creatives. This is benefiting all photographers. So even if you're not a member of PPA, even if you're not, for some reason, you've chosen to not do that. Okay. It still is going to benefit you. This is not just for PPA members. This is for all photographers, all creatives, quite frankly. So, I mean, the fight that we've chosen, it is one of our directors from the board. It is definitely, one of our objectives and priorities that we want this and we want it for all photographers. So I love that. I love that you don't have to be a PPA member, and which also means you don't have to be a PPA member to go to that ppa.com / small claims and just send some letters. It's cool. If you're not a member, that's fine, but you still could help us out by getting this message out there and sharing.
Well, and help yourself out. I mean, because there's around 250,000 professional photographers in the country. 30,000 of those are PPA members. And PPA is fighting on behalf of every single one of the photographers, regardless, like you said, regardless of if you're a member or not. This helps you.
Exactly.
So this is certainly not a join PPA campaign. This is a, protect yourself, be able to put food on your table, help everyone be better in the creative industry, because it's hard out there. We don't have to be starving artists, right?
No.
Like it's not that's not cool.
You don't have to roll around with a piece of luggage with one wheel missing.
You don't, or have your car handle fall off like randomly in the humidity.
Oh my God. Yeah, you don't have to have that.
I mean, you could choose to, though, because it's paid off.
Yeah,
if that's
yes, you could. Well, I love it, and I'm so excited that you got to go, and it was fun to follow along on social media, and it was even more exciting that first hurdle, because that's the first big hurdle we've hit. I mean, and it's been, every time you turn around, it's like, oh, they're breaking, oh, it's break, oh, it's this, oh, it's summer. There's always a reason why it was going to be next time or next year. So, really made some progress, and hopefully this will move forward and it'll happen this year. Everybody feels pretty good about it. I think originally what happened was they had to get over some of the bigger mega businesses were fighting it. We were being fought by, I'll just say it. We were being fought by like, Google and these and Amazon. There was just huge companies but I think once they really understood what this is not about, things that really even having to do with them. This is about, us just trying to make a living. And, so I think once all that got cleared up, it's got a lot better chances.
And I get it. I suffer from political fatigue, just, where I just sort of check out of politics. And so I know it's easy to do, especially since PPA has been fighting for this for so long. It's easy to sort of like relax your eyes and start seeing sailboats and in the you know what I mean, and the stuff. But I'm telling you, it's real. It's worth it. It's moving forward. So if anything, this should be a resurgence in our excitement and our energy pushing forward to try and get it go. I do have to tell you a funny story though.
Yeah.
So I have always been one of those people that is very concerned about like, well, we need to be doing Facebook Lives from these events. They need to look good. We need to steady cam it. We need to have a microphone. We need to have those things. And me, Mary, I'm the one that's like, we need to have that stuff out. And so I would see, these updates from Capitol Hill and I'd be like, man, what a missed opportunity. I really want it to look awesome. And so we get there. And, we have our microphone ready, but we have to split off in like these different groups, and you can only take so much stuff into the buildings with you because you've got to go through security. My shoes were setting it off every time. And like people are like heavy sighing, like in the background, because now I'm basically having to take all my stuff off and do it. So it's an ordeal to get around and get through these places. And then furthermore, you have these meetings that are scheduled back to back, and they're across the campus from me. You know what I mean? So they're all over the place, and you might not be with the same people that you were with in the beginning of the day. And so twice we were like, we need to record something so that we can send out an update, because big things were happening really quickly and moving. And so we find 3 minutes in between our next meeting, and we find a quiet room where everybody had just let out, and I get my husband to like hold my phone and pre-record something for us. We don't have the microphone because Victoria has the microphone with another group of people like across, the building. So we're doing the best we can. We thought it was going to look okay because there's like lights in that room for the TV cameras, but of course you're with an iPhone, so you can't expose it right or whatever. Right. And it just looks bad. It just looks bad. And literally, I know how to make it look good, and I can't. I can't. And so we do it, and we put it out, and we start sharing it all around. And I start seeing these guys saying things like, did PPA record this on an iPhone? And I was like,
yeah.
And tables turned, my friend. I was like,
did the lights go off for you?
No.
Yeah.
I was like, no, because and then I had to get in there and comment or whatever. But, it's true. And I get it, guys. I do expect a level of professionalism with our pieces that go out. But it's near impossible when you've got moments between going through these meetings, when you have nowhere to talk. We did another video, and I was like, okay, I'm showing my husband like how to frame it up. Here's the corner. That's going to be your center. I want you to be this close to us. I want you to do this, that, and the other. If we start to overexpose, I want you to tap it so it like starts exposing correctly. And we're in even light in this atrium. I was like, this is going to be great because it's going to be busy and bustling behind us. And this little beam of sunlight just starts coming through the atrium and like physically assaulting me as we're recording.
Yeah.
As we're recording, and I can feel it on my face. And I'm trying to like do this Facebook Live, and report back and everything. And all I can think about, honestly, is that this little beam of sunshine is like just blowing out my skin on my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and we're going to get made fun of about this. But guess what, guys? The information needed to go out, and we had limited resources and time to do it.
Right.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess I'm not as in touch with all that because I don't know. I think I see something, and if I like the message or whatever, I can understand that sometimes, the right equipment wasn't there, or this wasn't happening. It's not like it's what I'm trying to sell to my clients. If I'm just going to shoot a quick video because I'm out and it's me with my family or doing something like, when we were on the Hill, when we went as a board, we can't carry all that stuff in. You barely can carry in, a chapstick and, your phone. Like, it's just, we don't have passes and credentials to bring a bunch of stuff in. It's not always there's no time because we will get this, you get shuffled and like herded from place to place to place to place. So yeah, give us a break. Give them a break. It's,
and I get it, guys, guys who get upset about it, because I get upset about it too in different situations. But, we're just photography nerds. We're lighting nerds. All of us know too much. And that's just.
But don't you think if it's something live versus something that's planned and recorded, it's not like it was being planned and recorded in a studio where you had control. You had zero control over most, except for what you said. You had zero control.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we have to do. And I guess that's kind of always been my point. This is not something, if I'm doing something on the fly, just because I think it's cool or cute or important, I want to share it. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but the message was perfect. And I think that's what
the message was perfect, and the message was important, and we wanted to be able to share it because, big, huge strides this week. It just felt like all this work, all these visits that you've done, the rest of the board has done, the staff at PPA has done, it's all coming together, and not just us, but all of the other agencies that are excited and on board. It's just happening, and so we just wanted to share it, and then we get a troll on there going, "Did you film this with an iPhone?"
Yep.
Yeah, man, I sure did.
Did and proud. But you know what else we did? We got that through. We got hurdle number one marked off our list. And, and I have to say one more brag moment. I'll stop, I promise. But, PPA has forged the hill on this. They really, really have. There's a lot of associations out there, the press associations and the Writers Guild, like I said, the songwriters, there's all kinds of associations, but PPA has led the way, and they are all we're all a team. I mean, we're all together fighting the same thing. But I mean, our photographers in general have been the ones that have stepped up and let their voices be heard. But we need more voices. So
Yes.
that, that I can't stress enough. It's just we're not there yet. We still have a couple more hurdles we need to get over, and I feel like we will and can. But gosh, we need y'all's help. And just it's so easy. PPA's made it so easy. And again, you do not have to be a professional photographer. You do not have to be a member. Just go to ppa.com / or is that right, Kira? I always get them / small claims. As a matter of fact, just go to ppa.com. I'm sure there's a link. It'll take you right there because it's that important to all of us. But talking about wins, tell me, how was New Orleans? I know you were down there. I'm sure you were. It was fun. Always besides your karaoke. What else?
Besides my karaoke, yeah. Let me tell you, my my friends that we've known since college, Kara and Ollie Hennessy, they're wonderful people. They live in Old Algiers, and they give you a truly authentic visit to New Orleans whenever you go. Like we almost never end up going to the Quarter. We almost always end up going to this like deep divey bar that has like a Chuck Berry cover band.
Nice.
That like, I mean, that's in fact what we did this time, and we went to dinner. I think we had 3 dozen oysters at some rando place. I couldn't tell you where we went, and I don't really care because it was just like fun. We usually ride bikes everywhere or ride the ferry. And so we had a great time. I only got to see them a little bit because I was really there to go to the Professional Photographers of Louisiana's convention, which was super fun. We judged all morning on Saturday. Saturday we judged all morning. Really, really nice images coming through there.
Nice.
So I'm excited to see how those guys do going on to IPC. And then I gave a program. I gave 2 programs that I'm laughing because I gave my Level Up program, which I love to give.
Yes.
And it was maybe, and I might be being bold saying this, but I'm going to say it. It was maybe one of my favorite times, like I feel like the best times that I've given
nice.
it. And the room seemed to be on board, and I just, how you give a program a lot of times and then eventually it just starts to really be smooth and people are with you.
Yep.
And so I felt the love. And then let me turn it right back around because then after we had a little break, and then I was going to give my One Light program, the demo program. And I would say 50% of everything I tried to do broke or malfunctioned the entire I bombed so bad because, one of my lights completely died. Which was okay because I have backup lights, right?
Of course you do.
Then one of my triggers died. Then Lightroom crashed and the hard drive that I was saving the images to crashed. Then I got everything back up and running again. And I'm telling you, I'm switching light modifiers out and trying to like moving things around and trying to not look sweaty, and it was fine. Because, I don't know if you guys know, but public speaking, it's not super easy, And so it's just, and I can hear people talking because they're talking to not about me, I don't think, but like just to each other, like, because the room is no longer silent and paying attention because you're like shuffling around. I finally get it fixed. The battery in my camera just drains like for no reason. I'm not kidding. If it was like all of I had an awesome week, just an awesome week. I mean, the board meeting was awesome. The successful, productive visit in DC, great judging at the image competition, packed, full convention, full room of people, great program that morning. And then the last thing that I do on my trip of 7 days is bomb in front of like 75 people.
Okay. I'm sure you didn't bomb, but that does sound like a lot.
No. It was.
Oh man.
Ralph Romagara was there, who's your good buddy.
Yes.
And good buddy to PPA and a nice man. And he comes up to me afterwards and he goes, "Are you glad that's over?"
Oh wow. Aw.
Sure was, Ralph.
Yeah. Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, but they were lovely people and very understanding. And of course, everyone said nice things to me at the end. But it's humbling.
Yeah.
You go, you speak at a lot of places. You give the same program a lot of times. You feel like you work out the kinks. You feel like you know what you're talking about. You feel like you start to feel like maybe you're smart. You know
that you got your shoot together.
Like you got your shoot together, and then
you
completely fall apart in front of a group of people in New Orleans. So,
well, if it had to happen
so nice.
somewhere, New Orleans is a great place. You're right. Ralph and Cindy Romagara, 2 of our really great friends from down there, but so many awesome people. We go to New Orleans a lot just because we love it and we have friends down there, but very, very nice, forgiving people. So I'm sure.
Oh yeah, totally. And so were all the people that I met. Everyone was so nice, and
Yes.
nobody said a word
Nice
to me
group.
about it.
Very nice group
Yeah.
of people. Yeah.
Very wonderful group of people. And so I was lucky to be there, happy to be there, and had a great time and a good visit with our friends. And I'm back home. And I got to tell you, really happy to be home now.
I bet. I bet Lucy and Steely Dan are super duper happy.
Steely Dan, oh my God. Lucy is super duper happy, but Steely Dan, like every morning, is like in my face. Like he's on top of my chest trying to steal my soul.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want me to leave
That's
again.
what cats do.
He gets very upset. So
Oh no, I know it's good. It's always good to be home. I can't agree with you more. I'm trying to think what I got to see Dave Matthews this past weekend. So that's always a big win for me because I adore Dave Matthews Band.
I know. I texted you on the way home to see if you wanted to like keep me company as I'm driving home from New Orleans and by myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, she went to Dave Matthews.
I was out. I was in heaven watching him and then hanging out. But looking forward to, I'm going to actually go to Maryland to judge and speak this week. But after that, I think we both have state events coming up, right? Because I have the Virginia Summer Seminar coming up, which, as you know, Boo Ray Perry is going to be there.
The Boo Ray Perry
will be there, as well as Richard Sturdivant, which is kind of exciting. And when do I have that coming up? That is August 9th through 12th in Fredericksburg, Maryland, vppa.org. If you're around, you can still register. A really great event. I'll be giving a short program there, but more importantly, we have other awesome local talent and Boo Ray Perry and Richard Sturdivant coming.
Yeah. And we have in Florida, the Florida Professional Photographers have the Focus Convention, which is happening September 27th through 29th in Orlando, Florida. Some notable speakers that will be at that are Mr. Tony Corbell. Chris Knight is going to be there, who's fantastic. Our PPA president, Audrey Wankett, is going to be there. PPA board member, Petey Ree is going to be there. I know I'm trying to make Petey Ree stick.
I'm going to be using that. That's like that's his club name for sure.
Petey Ree, yeah, okay. DJ Petey Ree is going to be there. And our friend Michael Mowbray is going to be there. Tamara Knight is going to be there. Our friend Amy Fike is going to be there. Nice. And of course, the Photobomb podcast is going to be recording live there as well with Boo Ray and Gary. So that is going to be a super fun event. And I hope, and you don't have to be a member of Florida to attend. You can just join Florida randomly and get your ticket for free.
Nice. Yeah. Same thing in Virginia. That's the nice thing about affiliates like that you can always do that. And I love to travel and get to meet people. And I've known this photographer named Cynthia Pace for a while. Just going back, we have very similar styles and she's always just real smart girl, but just very, very, very talented. But she sent us the nicest email last week, or did you? And I'm sure you saw it, but
I did.
I just thought it was so cool that she was sent us a little shout out about that she was enjoying, and she called us easy listening, which
I don't know
made
about
me
that.
giggle a little bit. But she said it's so fun to listen to, and she listens to it while she's editing or going on her walk or whatever. She just said it was so relatable and enjoyable. So I thought that was cool. And I hadn't talked to Cynthia in a while, so it was really fun. But she mentioned that she just ordered a new product line, a new type of product for her studio. And that's how she leveled up last week. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening.
I know.
And keep writing us, guys. In fact, I'm going to give you guys all kinds of information about how you can get a hold of us. You can follow us on Instagram at Get Your Shoot Together. You can follow us on Facebook at Get Your Shoot Together. You can email us at girl@getyourshoottogether.com on your dedicated email devices. And you can also subscribe to us now on all of the thingerdoos that have podcasts available, Spotify, iTunes, and whatnot. So thank you guys. We will see you next time.
Thanks, y'all.